Hey guys, Tatiani Favors here, your tax business coach. And let's get into today's topic. It's about how to start a tax business. We're going to do this in 15 steps. And today's video is more so for the aspiring and the new tax professional. You established tax professionals, you could probably get some benefits in watching this as well. Because even though you've been preparing taxes for 10, 15, 20 years, it doesn't mean that you have done the necessary steps you need to do in order to make sure that you have an actual business. You could be filing tax returns for, 10 plus years. However, you're functioning as a sole proprietor, and that simply will not do. Okay. So you could benefit from this video as well. So let's go ahead and get right into how to start a tax business in 15 steps. So we're going to do it. Now, when I say how to start a tax business, I mean how to start. And we are starting from the very start. And the very first thing that you should do is come up with a business name because so many of the legalities and things that you have to do to get your credentials, to get to make sure that your business is legal is you have to have a business name. What is your tax firm called? Okay. So I want you to decide the name of your tax business. Now, some paper and a pen really quickly and write down the steps that I'm about to tell you because this is the process that I do when I am coming up with a new business name. Okay. So the number one thing is I brainstorm business names. I write them down somewhere. It doesn't matter. It could be pen to pad. It could be on a Google Doc, Word doc, in the note section of your phone, wherever. Have a list of potential business names. Then the first thing that I do is I go to the state authority that I'm in to see if this name is taken legally in my state. So I'm in the state of Georgia. So the authority that is over entities is the Secretary of State, the Georgia Secretary of State. So I go to the Georgia Secretary of State. I do what's called a business search. Sometimes in other states, if it's not called a business search, it's called a corporations search. I do a search and see who has this name, who has something close to this name, what industry they're in, and just to see if anyone has this name legally in my state. Once that is cleared, then I Google the name because now, okay, no one has it in my particular state. Now I'm going to Google it to see if anyone has it anywhere. I want to know, does this name exist anywhere? And if that passes the test, then I go to social media. So I go to all the social media platforms that I want to market on, and I want to see if the handle is available. If the handle is available, I'm gonna go ahead and get it just so no one else can. You can have multiple IG pages, you can have multiple Facebook pages, Twitter and all the other ones I'm not too sure about. So, you may have to look more into those. But IG and Facebook, you could definitely have more than one page. And so go ahead and secure that handle, that social media handle. Once I do that, and I like it enough, if I like this name enough, I will go to the USPTO, which is the United States Patent and Trademark Office, .gov. I will go there to see if anyone has this name trademarked. And if I like it enough, then I will go ahead and trademark it. Oh, I missed a step. After social media and before I go to the trademark, the USPTO website, I go to GoDaddy. That's where I get my domains, but there are multiple places you can get domains, but you can go to GoDaddy because they're all the same. They're either a domain is taken or it's not. And I will go to see if the domain is taken. Okay. I want to know if this domain is taken because if it's not, I want to make sure that my website can be whatever my business name is. And then if I like it enough, I'll go ahead and trademark it. So my company name is Mind Your Tax Business. And I think that name is so clever and so cool, and I liked it enough to where I trademarked it. So I do, so Mind Your Tax Business is in fact trademarked, but I went through that whole process. Um, and that's my personal process. And when I'm picking a business name, just to make sure it's available. Now, why do I do this? I do this so I won't get sued or so I won't build a brand on top of someone else's name, because that is the thing. You can have this business name, you can build an entire brand, you can make money, but if someone owns a trademark or if someone has this name and you've taken this name and making money, they can sue you for all the money or even a percentage of the money that you have produced from using this name. You don't want to find yourself in that position, okay? Business is a real thing. It's not make believe like social media, what have you think. So when you're coming up with a name, I highly suggest you take those steps. Okay, number two, entity formation. I need for you all to decide on a legal business structure, and there are four. Okay, I do not consider sole proprietorship a legal business structure because you don't have to do anything to to create one. You just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want to make money doing this," and then you start doing the thing and you start making money. There's no annual fee. There's no annual way where you have to update um, the entity. There's no paperwork that needs to be filed or anything like that when you have a sole proprietorship. So I don't consider that one of the well, I don't consider that a legal business entity. But you have four: LLC, which is limited liability company, a C corp, an S corp, and a partnership. Okay. So and all of them have different tax and liability benefits, pros and cons, and you just have to decide which one works best for you and your tax business, where you are and or where you are going. And you definitely want to consider that, because whatever business structure you choose, you want to make sure that as you grow, it fits that structure. Okay. Let's move on. Number three, obtain your EIN. Your EIN is your employer identification number. Your employer identification number. Now, once you have a business name and you set up a business entity, okay, and how you would set up a business entity, and you know what? Let me go back. How you would even set up a business entity, again, you would go to the authority for your state. I'm in Georgia, so that would be the Georgia Secretary of State for me. But sometimes it's the Department of Revenue in your state. I know in Florida, it's like the corporations division, but you would go there and you can file your legal paperwork online with your state's authority to become an LLC, a C Corp, a S Corp, or a partnership. So you would do that online, pay the fee, wait the amount of time, and then you'll be approved. If you are an LLC, you will receive an articles of organization. If you are a corporation, you will receive articles of incorporation once they have received and approved your request to become a legal entity. Okay. So once you do that, you want to head over to the irs.gov website to obtain your EIN, your employer identification number. The quickest way I can explain an EIN is to a company, identifies a company, just like a social security number identifies a person. Okay. There are no two alike social security numbers. And so there are no two alike EIN numbers, because this is a specific number that identifies a company. Okay. And so you want to get your EIN number on the irs.gov website once you receive your articles of organization or your articles of incorporation. Step number four, you want to go ahead and obtain your PTIN, your Preparer's Tax Identification Number. And this number is specific to tax professionals, to tax preparers, and it goes on the tax return that you prepare. In order to become excuse me, in order to become a legal tax preparer, you must have this number. Okay. You cannot legally Exchange tax preparation services for compensation if you do not have a P10. The P10 allows you to receive payments for tax prep services. Okay. And this P10, again, no two preparers have the same P10. It identifies you as a tax preparer. All of the tax returns that you file are up underneath your P10. Okay. That's why it's so important to not have a lot of fraudulent tax returns, because they can be traced back to you, and they do revoke P10s. Like, they revoke EFINs as well. They also revoke P10s, and you don't want that. So you definitely need your P10 if you plan on getting paid for tax prep services. Okay. Step number 5, you want to make sure that you create your IRS e-services account. And when you do that, this will allow you to conduct any and every type of business directly with the IRS electronically. This is how the Internal Revenue Service conducts business. You have to have an IRS e-services account. If you don't, you can't apply for your EFIN. You can't do a few things. If you want to do business with the IRS, you have to have an IRS e-services account, period, point blank. It is free. Step number 6, apply for your EFIN. Your EFIN is your electronic filing identification number. And what that is it allows you to make sure, it allows you to legally transfer tax returns directly to the IRS from your tax firm. Okay. And so let me back up and make sure I'm explaining EFIN correctly, because many of you probably hear people say you have to apply for your EFIN, and we'll mimic that because that's easier for you to understand. But when people say this, what they really mean is that you have to apply to become an authorized IRS e-file provider. Okay. And that means that you are legally authorized by the IRS to electronically file tax returns directly from your tax firm to the IRS with no middleman. Okay. And so when you become an authorized IRS e-file provider, you are 100% independent, and you don't have to rely on anyone else's EFIN or credentials to file your client's tax returns. I know a lot of people are up underneath someone else's umbrella who has an EFIN because they do not have an EFIN. But once you get your EFIN, this also means that you don't have to split your money percentage or anything with anyone else, because you are underneath their umbrella. An EFIN is the type of freedom you want. Okay. This is the freedom that you want in the taxation industry, because, like I said, you are 100% independent. Okay. When you get an EFIN. So once you are approved, then you will receive an EFIN, which means that you are an authorized IRS e-file provider. It is the number that represents that you are now authorized. Step number 7, get a business bank account. Okay, get a business bank account. And you will need the following things. Typically, and I have a few business accounts with a few banks, some very large banks, some even local credit unions. Okay, I like to diversify where I put my money. But one thing that they all have in common is what you would need. So you would need your official EIN letter from the IRS when you go get your EIN on the irs.gov website. You would need a copy of your articles of organization if you're a corporate, if you're an LLC, or articles of incorporation if you decided to be a corporation. And then, of course, whatever bank application that they have that they require for you to complete. Now, recently, they've kind of made this much easier. So what you do is you want to open an account, they'll fill out the application for you. If you have a copy of your EIN letter, they can see that. And then they can just go and check and see if you have a business on your state's authority. So when I go open a bank in Georgia, they can go to the Georgia Secretary of State, see my business, see that it's active and compliant, and move forward. So you don't actually have to have the exact printout, but it's always great to have it, just in case, your particular bank needs it. Okay. You want to get a business bank account before you even start preparing tax returns or as soon thereafter as you know, because you don't want to what they call commingle your personal and your business income. Commingle is just a fancy word of saying mixing. You don't want to mix your personal and your business income and expenses. Why? Because in the event of an audit, in the event that you get audited, if that IRS agent or if that state agent says, well, if they recognize that you've been commingling your funds, then you might have legit business expenses, like legit business expenses, but they will not allow you to take them on your Schedule C or 1065 or 1120 or what have you, simply because you commingled with your personal. And they are like, I'm not combing through this to see what's business and what's personal. You don't have them separated. You are not a responsible business person. So, guess what we're going to do? We're not going to allow any of these expenses. I have seen it done. That is what they do, especially if they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, but they have the authority to do that. Do not let them do that. Okay. Do not give them a reason to do that to you. Okay. So just go ahead and separate your business and your personal income and expenses. Step number 8, uh, think about and define the type of business that you want. Okay. And so, what do I mean by the type of business that you want? Do you want a physical location? Do you want a mobile tax service? Do you want a virtual tax service? Do you want a franchise? Okay. Do you want multiple locations? What type of tax business do you want? Because that is going to really drive the decisions on how you're going to proceed, what type of software you're going to get, what type of how you're going to market your business. What is your dream? What type of tax business do you want? Okay. Step number 9, I need you all to create a business plan. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, I do not want to create a business plan. If I hear anything about a business plan again, I'm going to pull my hair out. And I know that when you hear the word business plan, your anxiety goes up to all-time high. But I'm here to tell you that a business plan doesn't have to be this 30-page document with graphs and charts and all the things, right? It can be if you're looking for funding, but the business plan that I am referring to is simply a plan. I want you to sit down somewhere and intentionally think about where you are taking your tax business, okay? Because making money is not a plan. It is too obtuse, it is too general, it's too vague. That was my plan for a lot of time, a lot of years. I want to make a lot of money and I want to get a lot of clients. Okay, Sherlock, how? Okay. So a plan is not only the goals that you have, but it's a strategy on how you plan to execute. Okay. How are you getting to these goals that you have? And it requires you as the business owner and the CEO of your tax firm to sit down somewhere and intentionally think about that, because you can get stuck on the hamster wheel of getting clients preparing taxes, getting clients preparing taxes, tax season after tax season after tax season. And then you look up one day, your kids are older, you miss 5 months out the year every year. You might have a little coin in your pocket, but you miss family time and the things that matter to you, and you're still working like a donkey. Okay? You might be busy, but you're not progressive. Having a plan will put things in perspective for you so you can be progressive. Okay? And at minimum, at least come up with an outline. At least come up with your end goal and work backwards. What is your ultimate goal? If your tax business was clicking on all cylinders and it was at the tippy top, it was the epitome of success. What does that look like? How big is your team? Where do you have an office somewhere, whether it's open to the public or not? Where do you go to work? How do you dress? What do you drive? Where do you live? How are your kids living? How is your spouse living? What are you doing for the community? All the things. What does that look like at the top of your game? Cylinders clicking with grease, just really, really, really working out what does that look like, and then work backwards, at least an outline, guys. Okay. Step number 10, I need you all to create a marketing plan. Okay. In Tax Boss Academy, I teach the triple M's, which is market, message, and media in that order. In that order. So, target market meaning who. Okay. It answers the question who. Who are you marketing to? Okay. Your messaging. This answers the question what. What will you say to your market? Okay, because yes, it's true that everyone files taxes, but it is not true that you can have the same message to everyone just because they all file taxes. You cannot speak to an 18-year-old college student with a job the same way you would speak to a 65-year-old retiree. Yes, they both still have to file a tax return, but their tax circumstances couldn't be more different. And when you have one message for such a wide market, you're talking to no one. It's that it kind of goes back to that old saying, what is it? What I know I can mess up a saying. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. That's what happens when you don't have a target market. It's too many people out here in these social media streets who prepare taxes. Your daddy prepared taxes, my mama prepared taxes. They preparing taxes at the Family Dollar, at the Walmart, at the Six Flags, at everywhere they are preparing taxes. Okay. So how are you going to distinguish yourself from everyone else? And you cannot get up here and say what everyone else is saying. That's why people think this industry is so saturated. No, this industry is not saturated, but it is if you want to get in this industry and copy and paste and do what everyone else is doing, which a lot of people are doing. It's very much copy paste the same story with just a different logo and different brand colors. Okay. When you choose a target market, you immediately separate yourself from everyone else. Now, instead of just a tax preparer out here, you're a tax specialist to makeup artists, to police officers, to real estate investors, to whomever. Okay. And then media. Media answers the question, how will you communicate your message to your target market? And examples of media are social media is one. That's not the only vehicle. It's the most popular, but it's not the only vehicle. You know, you have direct mail, you have email, you have podcasts, you have signs, you have radio, you have billboards. You have the media is simply the vehicle that you're going to use to get your message to your market. And you want to identify these in that order: market, message, media. Okay. A lot of people mess up because they start with the media. No, you need to know who your market is, how to speak to them, and then choose the platforms or choose the type of media wherever your client is. You don't choose your media based on you. You choose your media based on your market. Why? Because you have to go to your market. They're not coming to you right now. Why? Because they don't know you. You aren't an H&R Block. You're not at Liberty Tax Services. You're not any of those things yet. So until then, you have to go to your market. Okay. Financial goals, step number 11. Simple, real simple question. How much money do you want to make? And I really want you all to define this number, okay? And a lot is not a number. You cannot go to the ATM and withdraw a lot. You actually have to put in a number, a number. So I really want you all to identify the number. For established tax professionals, if last year you made $50,000 in your tax business, I don't want your number to be $50,000. We know we can do that. I don't want your number to be a million either, because yikes, come on now. Okay. But I want it to be a number that makes you scared and pushes you a little, but something that's attainable and realistic. I don't want no one talking about a million, 10 million, and you only got 3 clients right now and you're a one person show. Okay. Like, come on. I'm all for having unrealistic goals, but I mean, come on, you're setting yourself up, right? But if you made $50,000 last year, why not double it? Why not go for 100? Because my thing is, it's something, so when you're talking about the psychology of the mind, right? If say you say, I want to make $60,000 during tax season next year. When you start coming up on 50, 55, you're going to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you're about to reach your goal. This happens unbeknownst to you. You don't do this knowingly. Okay? This is a very subconscious thing. You'll take your foot off the gas. However, if you say my goal is $100,000, okay, then you're going to keep going, keep going, keep going. Even if you don't make $100,000, just say you made 80. That's still 20 more than what you were going to say your initial goal of 60 was. You get what I'm saying? So you may not make 100 and you may not make your goal, but if you're making a plan to reach your goal, you're going to get close to it because that means that you've identified the level of effort that it's going to take to get there. Okay. So the level of effort, if you want to make $100,000 versus if you want to make $20,000, the level of effort there is different. And you want to understand in comparison to the amount of money you want to make, you want to understand immediately what that effort is looking like so you'll know to put things in place and so you know how you need to plan in order to achieve that goal of the number that you defined. Okay. It's very important, guys. It's so important. Step number 12, I want you all to choose a professional tax software, heavy on the professional. Listen, guys, TurboTax is not a professional software. Okay. It is a software that people who want to prepare their own taxes do. They self-prepare it. It is not for you, for someone to pay you to prepare their taxes and for it to say self-prepare. That is actually illegal. Okay, we are true professionals here. We get professional tax software. And so the software that you choose, it heavily depends on the type of business that you have or you want. And refer to step 8, define the type of tax business you want to really understand the type of software you need. I always say, you know, all professional tax software are not created the same. Okay, they all have bells and whistles and all of that, and I don't want you to get distracted by the bells and whistles. So what I will say is, depending upon the type of tax business you have and or want, write down a list of what you want or need your tax software to do. Okay, write down that list before you even start shopping tax software. Write down a list of what you need and want your tax software to do based on where your business is going or where it is. Okay. And then once you have that list, then you want to go shopping for professional tax software and find the software that closely mimics your list. I would say no more than get it down to 2 software and then demo those and see how you like them, if they're user friendly, if they actually do satisfy the marks that are on your list. Okay. Step number 13, I want you all to get acquainted with your software. Okay. Because whichever professional tax software you've chosen, you need to learn how to use it. Okay, so you can review the tutorials. All tax software has some type of tutorials, some type of how-tos to help you navigate the software. You want to learn how to navigate the software because the worst thing about tax season for you to do is to not know how to use your tax software. You have a simple W-2, very basic tax return that should take you 20 minutes, but it's taking you 2.5 hours because you don't know how to use your tax software. We don't have time for those type of time wasters. So you want to make sure that you and your team really understand how to use your tax software. And you can utilize mock returns, which are example returns with made up scenarios. You can find them online. Okay. Your software company probably has some. And what you can utilize these for, it's simply just a great method of helping you with your tax prep skills, but also gaining the practice that you need to learn the software. Okay. Step number 14, tax prep training, of course. Okay. So either you don't know how to prepare taxes and you want to learn how to prepare taxes, you need to start from the beginning, or you just need to refresh your chops. You need to go ahead and just get acquainted with some type of tax prep training platform. There are many options out there, both free and paid for. The free options, okay, that's all I'll say. You'll get your money's worth. And if it's free, okay. All right. But if you really want to learn how to prepare taxes and even a little bit more than just the basic tax returns, you're probably going to have to pay for it. I'm just going to let you know that, okay? You're probably going to have to pay for it. Now, this tax prep training can be for you and or your team, because some of you are like, you want to own a tax business, but you don't want to prepare the taxes, which is 100% fine. And I definitely teach that to my Tax Boss Academy members, because just because you own the business doesn't mean that you have to be the one to prepare the tax returns. Okay? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's what we go over that heavy in Tax Boss Academy. We have people in there who really want to be bosses and who really want to be business owners. Okay? And you can't work in and on your business at the same time. And so that's something that we really dive deep into and explore in Tax Boss Academy. And step number 15, get acquainted with Circular 230. Okay. Circular 230 is a document containing all the rules, the regulations, ethical provisions, disciplinary procedures. Okay. For people who practice before the IRS. It's all the rules, the due diligence, all the things that you need to know about what you should and should not do now that you are a part of this industry. You and your team need to be very familiar with Circular 230. Okay, guys. And so if you need help implementing any of these steps, like any, and I know I just covered the surface real quick. I didn't want this video to be 90 minutes because this could have been a whole training just now. But we really go deep into each of these steps plus more. I condensed it to 15 steps, and that's all you really need, the 15 steps. But within those 15 steps, when we talk marketing, the triple M's, when we talk about pricing your services, your marketing plan, your business plan, things of that nature, those are just umbrella topics. There's so much packed up underneath those topics that you must learn in order to really have a successful tax business. If you need help with any of these things, I really want you all to consider joining Tax Boss Academy Digital. Okay. Tax Boss Academy Digital is an online school designed for both the aspiring and established tax professional who wants to evolve into successful business owners. So whether you're just starting out, if you're looking to build, or if you're ready to scale a profitable and sustainable tax business, Tax Boss Academy Digital has the tools you need to guide you. Okay. And so no matter where you are in your taxpreneurial journey, we have your next best step. Your next best step. Your next best step may not be your peer's next best step. Okay. And so I want you all to understand that and wrap your mind around that. What is your next best step? And we'll identify that and make sure that you take that step, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. So what I want you to do is click the link down in the description box. I want you to learn more about Tax Boss Academy. I want you to contact me if you have any questions. You can email us. I'll put the email down in the description box. You can DM me on Instagram at Tatiani Favors, or better yet, you can set up a free consultation and get all of your questions answered. And that is down in the description box as well. Okay, guys, I really want to make your tax business dreams come true. So let's get to it. And I'll see you all in the next video.